I think you need to understand that you're doing more harm to yourself by staying in that situation and staying in that environment. It not only makes you look differently at yourself, but even when it's time to move forward, say you move forward from this person, it's going to be difficult for you to be vulnerable with people. It's going to be difficult for you to be your natural authentic self, because there's been somebody that's been planting all of these seeds of doubt about your natural and authentic self. And the more you let these things breed, and the more you let these things fester, the more you choose to stay, because you start accepting these ideas of what people think of you, even if you don't walk around thinking you're a stupid bitch or nothing like that. But you give these claims like a sense of validity, and you kind of stay because this person still accepts you even though you're all of these things, if that makes sense. So I feel like you are in a situation that's obviously toxic, and even though this person may not be putting their hands on you, or you know what I mean, like anything like that, those wounds, they don't just affect the emotional and the mental wounds. They don't just affect you like on a mental level, they affect your ability to create, right? They weaken you. And I feel like you're weakening yourself. And the weaker that you stay, the weaker that you become in this relationship, the harder it is to leave. So while you're still aware that, this behavior is fucked up, this doesn't make me feel good, I know I need to leave, then you need to be like moving and embodying that energy. You're staying due to comfortability. You're staying due to lack. You're staying due to codependency. People don't go from being mentally and emotionally abusive to just stopping or just changing overnight. It's rare that a nigga wake up in the middle of his sleep and say, damn, I be making you cry and shit, I'm sorry, I'm done. And really be done. And those stories that we idolize, and oh, well, my auntie Teresa, or, oh, this girl on YouTube, her baby daddy used to be like that, and mine, those people, they went through drastic shifts in order to create some type of change within their reality. And a shift to create like a higher vibrational change is never staying stagnant. It's always doing something and taking a risk. So if you don't take a risk, then like you need to see it clearly, that things don't get better. You're just going to get more and more and more and more uncomfortable until you're pushed to take a risk. I think a lot of us like pain, because although it's painful to walk away, it's like ripping a band-aid off. It's going to be painful while you're doing it, but then like you heal. I feel like it's even more painful to stay there in an environment that makes you doubt yourself, question yourself. You don't feel inspired. You feel drained. You don't want to eat. You don't know what to say because you don't want to fuck things up. Even on y'all best day, it's still fucking drama. All of the holidays are fucking ass. Somebody that doesn't appreciate the things that are important to you, the people that are important to you. You losing family members and friends, and don't have bonds with them because you're so connected and trying to hide yourself in this relationship. It's like really it's like you like pain. It's not a good feeling to feel, but you love it. You gotta ask yourself, like, why is that? Like, I've been looking back through my life, and I'm connecting the dots about a lot of stuff, and it stems from somewhere. Why do I like this feeling? You gotta think about the girls, like that girl that was raised by her daddy, and like, well, let's not say raised by her daddy, but she has like a really close relationship with her daddy. She has like a high sense of esteem for herself. She don't put up with fuck boys. Oh, he's not opening my door. Like, ugh. Like somebody that's really uppity behind themselves, and you really have to understand like the difference between them and you. Like, why are there some people that refuse to be used, refuse to entertain less, refuse to settle, refuse to build somebody up, refuse to sacrifice for someone that, there's no reward that comes with it, versus the person that is worth so much and refuses to like charge their worth, refuses to stick up for themselves, refuses to set boundaries, refuses to step away from situations that is breaking them, refuses to love yourself enough. Like, what in you makes you feel that way? Is it an insecurity? Is it a experience that you've experienced? Is it a self-limiting belief? Like, what is it? Why don't you want more? Why don't you have a higher expectation of how somebody should treat you? And why, if you have a high expectation of how somebody should treat you, how come these fuckboys come in and you suppress your expectation in order to fit them or force them into your reality? What is it about you that allows that type of behavior and refuses to accept and expect more for yourself? Yeah, and I want you to understand that trauma doesn't start there, right? A lot of us end up in those type of situations because we were introduced to trauma. We normalized it in some type of way. In our mind, we familiarize ourselves with certain patterns and stuff like that. Some trauma, I think people like my mom, she gets so triggered when I talk about my childhood trauma because my mom was a great mom. She went in the military for me. We lived everywhere. We used to like vacations. We was like in Tokyo, like at fucking spas and stuff. She was a great mom, but that doesn't mean that I wasn't affected through my childhood. So my childhood trauma, I've noticed that I've made a lot of poor relationships and connected to a lot of people prematurely because I was a military brat and we moved so much and I went from state to state to state, and even when we were in the same state, my mom wanted the best quality of life, so she would always change my school. So I was in 12th grade and I had been to 13 different schools, so I was so used to being like introduced to people and ripped away from them, and introduced to people and ripped away from them. And so when I met people, when it came to women, I was so used to women being like catty and stuff. I didn't give a fuck when I was ripped away from people because I would be ripped away from them and they would switch up, or the relationship wasn't even authentic or whatever it may be. And with my romantic relationships, I became very codependent and needy on that, because I was so quick to dispose of like friendships and things like that. So I mean, like, childhood trauma or trauma doesn't have to be somebody locked me in a closet, somebody beat me, somebody da 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 da. A lot of times the smaller traumas is what push you in those situations or places or environments to be in those situations. So it doesn't have to be my mama starved me or my mama was a horrible mama. Sometimes the sacrifices to give you a better life has still negatively affected your perception of life. So even if something wasn't intentional, it could still hurt you. You know what I mean? Um, Going to school, a lot of times I would be happy about, the clothes that I had, the things that my mom would buy me, my little girl toys and stuff like that. And to go to school, it was always somebody to fucking pick on me. It didn't matter if I had on Izod. It didn't matter what I had on. I ain't have on apple bottom or baby fat. So people would talk about me and I was always, you're proper and your family got money. Like, they would pick on me for that. And so when I see how it affected me moving forward, like, it's affected me in different ways. Not like the ways that you would expect it to, but it definitely it created some insecurities with my authenticity. You know what I mean? And so that's why now when it comes to me putting out creative ideas or doing things that I love, like, I'm so guarded about certain things. But you gotta figure out the trends of your life. So not just reflecting on the trauma, but even the good things. You know what I mean? She would put guys first. Yeah. So you would probably have abandonment issues, looking for love type shit, looking for somebody to accept or be around you unconditionally, like codependency type of issues, family wounds. Some of our family wounds is the obsession to do it better than our family did. You know, that's why a lot of people are still with their kids' dads or forcing relationships with, their marriages and stuff because my I want to give that to my family. My family didn't give it to me. I want to outdo them. I want to do it the right way. Yeah, so I would disconnect. I feel like you hugging the trauma of this relationship, you need to back up and address all the trauma. You need to sit back and reflect. You need to renegotiate your standards of love, what you choose to accept, how you choose to allow someone to talk to you, what boundaries need to be set for your mental security, your physical security. Because if a ninja feel comfortable demeaning you verbally and emotionally, it's only so long before he does something physically. And then when you find yourself reading your word more, I promise my other relationship that I just got out of, we've always been good until I start praying over the house, praying those uncomfortable prayers. Not even like spirit revealed to me, like those type of prayers and stuff like that. Everything explodes when you find yourself getting closer to source, when you find yourself praying more, when you find yourself getting into a routine and shit start crumbling and running away from you. That's God. You want to be more in alignment. You want to get yourself together. You want to connect with source. You can't do that with these negative attachments to you. So spirit is cleaning house, but you choose to dirty it back up. You keep praying for a better life, but this is a what is the word that I want to use? I can't think of the word. It starts with an I though. Inevitable. This is something that in order to elevate, it's inevitable to release it. You cannot elevate with that weight on you. You cannot elevate with that baggage on you. You cannot elevate somebody that does not want to elevate. You cannot take this you can't take them with you. And you can't understand why your life is steadily in shambles because you're steadily trying to take something with you to a level it's not gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. And that's energetically, like a lot of us, and I've been there a lot of times because somebody wasn't in my physical. I'm like, okay, I can go. No, I'm still energetically bringing them there. Those hidden thoughts, those hidden feelings, those hidden emotions, those hidden desires. You can't go with me energetically. You can't go with me physically. I have to let you go. Think of it as a sacrifice because you are holding me back, literally.